So hello, beautiful tribe, and welcome to Magic Month of June. I cannot believe we are halfway through the year. It's crazy. So welcome to Magic Month of June. I would be really grateful to those of you listening live if you can use the chat and let me know that you can hear and that the technology is working correctly. And yeah, I'm excited about June. June feels like we finally get a chance to breathe, arrive, land, for the integration of the crazy journey that's been going on astrologically since May to show up. And I'm glad you can hear, and I'm glad the technology is working correctly. And yeah, I'm just really, really excited for the spaciousness that is June. So let's begin with closing our eyes. I'm feeling the muscles around our eyes relaxing. As you breathe slowly, really experiencing your breath. Through the wholeness of your body. And as you breathe, I'm inviting into this time and this space the energy of June 2023. It starts being rocky. But by the end, it is gliding and calm and deeply feminine. It is in many ways that journey of the out-breath. I invite you to take this time to be in the energy of June 2023. To feel what you are preparing for this month. Take some time to intuitively meet the month before we do the forecast and the guidance. As you're with the energy, what do you feel? What do you experience? What do you sense? And when you're ready, opening your eyes. And I invite you to share about what this month is for you. Just from that intuitive level. I think everybody listening live is a regular to Magic Month, but if you're not, then welcome. Magic Month is an energy forecast show, and it gives you insight, astrologically and energetically and channeled insight about the month ahead, so that you can use that information for the best times to align and manifest and heal, so you can make the most of the ride that is the month. It's interesting what you're intuitively bringing in. I love the concept of peaceful change. That's what I feel from this month. It is that very kind of like arrival style change. Just hold whatever came up for you in no judgment. And I almost invite you to let go of what came up for you, and then just see what it means to you at the end of the forecast. What does it mean when we get to the end? And I agree there's grace, and I agree that there's focus, and I agree with a lot of what you're intuitively saying. For me, like I said, there's a little bit of a light wave at the beginning of the month, and then there's a feminine finish. That's what June is, finishing in the feminine. And it's very much a pure month. Like when I tune in, this is a month of devotion. This is a month of love. This is a month of truth, of simplicity. Actually, my guides, some of you that are regulars to Magic Month will know that March 23 was epic. Astrologically epic. And my guide said in March, I don't know if they said it on Magic Month, but they said it in one of the projects I was involved with, that what was happening in March would take until the solstice to integrate. And astrologically, it's very much an integration of March, June 23 is. And you know what integration is? It's showing up in real life, in real time, in your body, in reality. It's becoming whole. It's when change becomes whole, becomes who you are. And so it is a powerful month for integration. And very much integration requires space and listening and stillness. And communication. And communication. The first thing, so I always say on Magic Month that what happens at the beginning of the month is like that. This is the piece. This is the key to this month. This is the stage being set for this month. And on the very first of the month, on the 1st of June, Mercury, which is the planet of communication, leaves the shadow phase. And so Mercury's out of its retrograde, and now it's out of the shadow phase at the end of the retrograde. And this means that like the way to navigate the wave and then the calm this month is communication. Is communicating clearly as I'm speaking, communicating slowly, really getting clear on what it is that you want to say. It feels like take your truth seriously this month. Take your integrity up a gear this month. I feel like the guides want to give a message about sovereignty. It feels like June is an up-leveling of our sovereignty. And that feels really important. I'll let the guides channel at the end of this. And then on June 3rd, we go into the Sagittarius full moon. And Sagittarius is about moving forward. Sagittarius is about following your passions. You know, this happening at the start of the month. It's like, may your truth choose your path. Your truth is your path. Your truth is your purpose. It's a lighter moon. You know, we've had a lot of like churny energies, and this moon is joyful and happy and playful. In some places it's the 4th, some places it's the 3rd, and it's adventurous. And there's also a connection to Saturn though, and the Saturn is quite active under this moon. And Saturn in astrology is known as like the Lord of Karma, and so that's where the serious energy comes into this moon. I like to share what my guides say karma is. They say that karma is being so far out of alignment that you actually have to work your way back into alignment. You have to do things. Karmic debts is like getting yourself back into alignment. And so it feels like around this moon time is maybe the final medicines of the last few months, the kind of like final, like, are you in alignment here? Are you in integrity here? But it's very much done in a way that is sweet and gentle and playful and joyful, rather than a Saturn slap. And so like it's a good time for inquiry this moon. It's a good time for streamlining what is in the way of your path, what is in the way of you moving forward, for actually paying the debts, like actually getting out of the things that have been misaligned, and doing it very gently and innocently and spaciously. And that's I would say this moon is a really, really good time to be in gentle ceremony, to be in meditation, to be journaling. It's definitely a good moon. It's Sagittarius, so it's a good moon for visioning. But maybe visioning in the way that is listening. One of the things that my guides are really into is like, what if you just manifest more love and then listen to what that is, rather than trying to create a vision that like is something, you know? Like this whole month feels like leave the space, create the space, be the love. And then after our kind of, like I said, when I tune in, it feels like this full moon is like, okay, complete. March till now, complete. And I would really use some of the full moon to think of the journey that you have been on, especially the healings and the activations and everything that you have done to complete. Give yourself some time to go back over it and think of everything. When I think of that quarter for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, it has been epic. It's been amazing. But like give it some time, you know, like rethinking of it is how you bring it in. It's how you integrate it, giving it some space and some stillness. And then on the 5th and 6th, depending on where you are in the world, Venus is entering Leo, and this is very, very important because Venus is retrograding this year, and she will be in Leo when she's retrograding. That doesn't start till July, but like in a way, her entering Leo is the beginning of her retrograde. And I find, so Venus is the planet of like feminine energy and creative energy and life force energy and love. And I find her retrograde to be, you know, if anything is out of alignment in a relationship or in any form of your devotional field, it's really potent. Like, Venus does not, like, her retrogrades are not gentle. They're like, you will see this. And she's going to be in Leo for the retrograde. She's going to be entering Leo at the beginning of June. And Venus in Leo is a really potent but very, very magical combination. Like, so Leo is kind of charisma and leadership, and Venus in Leo with all of this creative energy, like they just like create, you know, like they just like go wild and have like a passionate, amazing, creative, up-leveling leadership time. And so like Venus in Leo can be really good for relationships, for new relationships, for money, for pleasure, for joy. You can also go totally into your ego and go like completely manic, and so you need to stay grounded. But it feels like this transit is just so perfect after that integration of the last few months. It's like now the Venus Leo passionate, amazing energy is just gonna like help you go forward, help your heart be, in a way it's like Leo helps your heart and your sexual energy be louder, you know, helps your needs be bigger, helps the intimate self be in the world. And so pay attention to what's happening around the 5th and 6th of June and in the moon just before, because that's all going to be about your Venus Leo journey. And pay attention to what's out of alignment so that you can sort it out before the retrograde, because like I said, the Venus retrograde is intense. It's like it rocks the boat for sure. And it's only every 18 months, so it's rare in terms of some other retrogrades. And then on June 11th, Pluto, which is in retrograde, and Pluto is the planet of shadow and rebirth and transformation. It's already in retrograde. It's moving back to Capricorn. And this is what's really important, because the big thing that happened in March, like loads of things happened in March, but definitely the biggest thing is Pluto moved into Aquarius. Pluto hasn't been in Aquarius for 200 years. Pluto only changes signs every 25 years. It's like a huge deal. And Pluto has been in Aquarius and is now like, is moving back to Capricorn for one final wrap up of Capricorn, of the Capricorn shadow within you and your life and in the collective. And Pluto first entered Capricorn in 2008. And so this is a huge time period that is like having its final wrap, its final encore. It's not that new stuff is going to come up. It's like the old stuff is going to have its final wave to release, to shift, to be stamped out in many ways, to be transformed. And Pluto in Capricorn is all about top-down power. And so in ourselves, it's about head first, like top-down power, us being from our heads rather than from our hearts and our bellies. And collectively, it's really obvious top-down power in the collective since 2008. You know, we've seen it really amplified. And so this day, very powerful day to be doing transformation work, inner work, shadow work, anything that like, particularly I would say like helps, you know, movement is always powerful. And as the movement is happening, as the move from Aquarius to Capricorn is happening, the place that we almost need to heal the most is the part of us that doesn't want to move out of Capricorn and into Aquarius. So the part of us that has maybe been in resistance the last few months, the part of us that has been going into anxiety or panic or old patterning, this is the perfect day to be doing that like deep dive pattern surgery work, if that's what you're into, if you're into deep inner work. And actually, amazingly, I didn't know about this day, but I actually have a live on June 11th by chance, by cosmic chance. So, and it's for pattern work and it's free. So if you want to come to that, you absolutely can. It's up on the website. Just go to our homepage and I'll put the links up in a moment. In fact, I can put that up. I don't have a link to the homepage, but when I put the links up, the live is free. And you know, it's back in what's familiar that we can then integrate what's happened in the last few months, what's happened since March. And so that move into Capricorn, I feel like marks the integration. I feel like it marks the time where we really start to integrate the huge journey since March. So you might get some waves of what happened in March. You might get some jiggling around the 11th of June for sure. And at the same time, Venus in Leo is square Jupiter in Taurus, and this is just beautiful, you know, like Venus and Jupiter are like the real positive of the planet's forces. I think all of them are good, but these ones are the ones that like carry the gold, you know, like Venus is heart and sexual energy and love, and Jupiter's path and abundance and expansion. And Venus in Leo brings that inner intimacy out into the world, like the inner truth, the inner sovereignty, the inner who you truly are when you're having an orgasm self, you know. That's what the Leo does, is like bring like the pure magic of yourself into the world and roars it into the world. And Jupiter in Taurus grounds and embodies your abundance and your path. And so it's like your dreams are being grounded as your essence is being illuminated. And I feel like that's the reward. That's the reward. If you do the work, if you do the, if you do the like shadow work, if you do the inner work, if you do the integration work, it's like there's also this powerful path activation. There's also this powerful like live it, upgrade it, creative inspiration. It's an amazing day to be manifesting, especially after healing work and after shadow work, because that's the time you're most open and most magnetic, and you can just like boom with this amazing like heart and path and body and charisma all kind of harmonizing within you, you know. It's a total creative life force energy boost, and it's beautiful. And then you have a few days off. Like compared to the magic months I've done the last few months, I'm like, oh, there's hardly anything this month. Like then we get to June 17th, which is the Gemini new moon. And this new moon, it's nice. Both the moons are like fairly gentle. This is a moon that's pretty social and romantic and optimistic. Again, it's a really good moon for any heart stuff. Wonderful moon for something like cacao, you know. Wonderful moon for anything that opens up your heart. And yeah, it's kind of like have lovely relationships and honor your skills and talents and be supported and supportive and be in the great balance, be independent and collaborative. It's that moon of like the Gemini wisdom of like be both, get the balance, be both. Amazing that your partner arrives. That's beautiful. And so it's a beautiful moon. It's a beautiful moon, like I said, for like, I'd really invite you to drop into your heart. You know, this is also a moon that's very much about new beginning. You know, it's the moon that is after the completion, so it's a new beginning. It's very, very got this, like you can feel it even as I'm talking, it's got this energy of self-love. You know, it's got this energy of like really loving yourself, doing you in and all facets of you and all aspects of you. At the same time, in true Gemini style, on the 17th of June as well, Saturn, it goes retrograde in Pisces. And this really, really represents the end of a cycle. You know, this last Pluto in Capricorn, Saturn going retrograde in Pisces is huge, because Saturn is about, like I said, law of karma, yeah? And Saturn is about so Saturn moved into Pisces in March 23 as well. And so this is the first time in 28 years that we've had Saturn retrograde in Pisces. But Saturn, you know, Saturn shows you where you need to take responsibility. Saturn shows you your karmic lessons. Saturn shows you where you need your boundaries. Saturn shows you where you need more order, where you need more responsibility. And it shows you the blatant truth. It shows you the things that you cannot ignore, okay? But because Pisces is the end of the astrological wheel, when Saturn is retrograding in Pisces, which it hasn't done for 28 years, it's the completion of a cycle. It's like a collective Saturn return. It's like, whoa, take a look at everything. Where are we dropping the ball? Where are we not responsible? Where are we not showing up? Where do we need to up level? And what's really powerful about Saturn in Pisces is that Pisces is normally very watery and intuitive and like in some ways disembodied. And Saturn in Pisces is like, yeah, you're not going to get away with that. You need to show up more. And this is happening, and the fact it's happening on such a beautiful new moon, it's like, yeah, show up for your truth and your lightness and your love and this new beginning. But you really have to live this new beginning. You can't part live it. You can't wishy-wash it. And that's what this retrograde is going to be about. It's like the whole cycle, the last 28 years. What you got to shake out of your system. How have you got to show up? So it's going to be a big retrograde. And so this moon has this energy of, can you embody? Can you live it? And then on June 18th, the sun. So Saturn also always gives you a reward. And June 18th the sun is square with Neptune. And I feel like the sky is saying, and this is your reward if you do the Saturn work. If you do the like, okay, I take responsibility, I set my boundaries, da 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 da. Your reward. So Neptune is like unconditional love. Neptune is illusions, but also dreams. And at its highest level, it's unconditional love. It's like the higher vibrational version of Venus, or the higher self of Venus. The ease of love, the like total prophetic dream of love. And this is square with the sun. Like, this is your rewards if you let that Saturn return happen. And throughout the whole of Saturn in Pisces retrograding, you know, throughout this summer. And this is your reward, is that like feeling of love in all directions, of your truth really being love and not story. And then it's like interesting straight after. So there's your like taste of your reward. Amazing day, by the way, to do any form of self-care, self-ritual, self-love. Yeah, to love yourself and to manifest from love. Absolutely amazing. And then on the 19th to the 20th, Venus enters shadow. So then it's almost like I feel like it's like the sky is like, so you're going to feel into everything that's in your way, and then you're going to feel the reward of what could be. And then all of that information is going to influence the Venus retrograde so that she can unstitch everything that's too tight and out of alignment and misstitched in your life. And it's also, this retrograde is completing the first, so the Venus rose, which is the shape that Venus makes in the sky. It's really cool. Has 4 petals, and this is kind of the completion of the first petal, which started in 2022. So again, there is more completion, there is more wrapping up, there is more integration, especially in matters of the heart and matters of life force energy and matters of the body. Yeah, this retrograde will kind of complete that petal and start the next petal. And so and all of it is happening in the moment of the solstice, which is 21st of June. And the solstice is all about potential. It's about the potential of the light. It's about the potential of the day or the night, depending on where you are. It is about becoming limitless. It's about, connecting to your potential and your inspiration. And it's a day of higher harmony. Like, be in ceremony on the solstice. Wherever you are, find a way to do ceremony, partly because so many people do ceremony, and so you're also in the collective field. And this one is particularly powerful because at the same time, Ceres, who is the goddess of the corn, the goddess of the harvest, enters Libra on the solstice. And so, this feels like, okay, the feminine way is the way to your potential. The spacious way, the creative way is the way to your harvest. Balance is the key to your potential. And it kind of opens up this really, I think we've already come into it, but like, you'll feel when I tune into the end of the month, it's just so calm. It's so arrived. It's so, harmonious. It's such a beautiful, beautiful time to just give space and be and trust and kind of let the goddess within you and around you do it all for you. And it's very much, you know, if there is a way of describing the feminine way, it's trust. And trust also happens through the body. You know, trust is doing through the body, loving through the body, living through the body. And then right at the end of the month, we have Neptune going into retrograde. And so Neptune retrograde, it helps us to see more clearly the illusions in our life and ourself. It helps us to, just become clearer. And when I tune in, like the astrology and the energy feel really beautiful in June. When I tune in, I feel like June is an opportunity to, strengthen your sovereignty, strengthen your clarity, so you don't get rocked by all of the retrogrades that are going to be starting to happen. So that you can just live a simpler, higher, more beautiful truth. And so that's the forecast. What do we think? Tell me what you think. I want to hear how you feel about it. I feel delighted by it. Like, I feel so ready for a break from the astrological rocking that we have had for the last few months. And so, it feels nourishing. You know, it feels like, okay, I can just land and be. What I love and what I'm so delighted by is, like, literally the timing of everything that has happened in terms of, like, what I've planned for June. I didn't know the forecast at all. I just put things in when I was free, and it's so perfectly timed. Like, I love starlight for that. It's so perfectly timed. Like I said, on the 11th, which is probably the most powerful day of the month to do shadow work, I'm doing a free introduction to body love, because we are doing body love deep dive starting on the 18th, starting on that amazing kind of energy of the Saturn retrograde in Pisces and the Sun square Neptune. And what body love is, if you don't know what it is just one of the most amazing pieces I've ever channeled. What the guides were, what in March I channeled that the reason people were not integrating, the reason people were not kind of embodying their higher selves in spite of doing all of this ceremony and medicine and manifesting work is because the rituals of the everyday weren't changing. So, like, we're doing all of this self-love, like affirmations and cacao and like all of this self-care, and then still being awful to ourselves in terms of rest, in terms of food, in terms of exercise. And what's amazing about this journey is, like, you know, your body is where the shadow lives, and your body doesn't lie, and the things that haven't healed yet, the things that haven't fully shifted yet are there, and you cannot not see them. And most of the time you've done the work, you just haven't changed the ritual. Like, you're still eating from your orphan, or you're still exercising from your abandoned, traumatized baby. And when you go in, it's just so fascinating. It's like going into the map of your relationship with yourself in an unfiltered, amazing way. And, like, literally as soon as I started doing body love work, so much has integrated. Like so many healing journeys, years worth of healing journeys is integrating, and it's like I cannot speak highly enough. And what happened when we were doing the body love in the eclipse window was it just became apparent that we were like touching the surface, and that like everybody, no matter how good you think you are, when you go into this, you're like, whoa, there's so much to see that I haven't seen. It became apparent that like you know, this is your core relationship with yourself. Like we need more time. And so body love deep dive is 21 days with each of the rituals, and it's supported, and you have to be supported, like energetically. For this level of work, you've got to be in the field. Like you just won't be held enough for your nervous system to release at the deeper level. Just fact. And so, and it's amazing, and I'm so excited about that body love. I can't believe the astrology of the deep dive. It's a journey from solstice to equinox, so the next quarter, and it's all about integrating in a really spacious, supported, honest, like that's why I love body love. It's so honest. There is no spiritual escapism. Like it's so like you will face it, you will see it, but in the most gentle way, in the most joyful way, in the most embodied way. And so yes, I will clear up the rows in a minute. And so that's what's happening. And that's deep dive. On the 11th, if you're interested, is the free thing. So if you click the find out more button, you will get to the free event, and you can find out about it. And the free event is going to be amazing as well, and it's on an amazing day because body love is, yeah, it belongs to the divine. Like it just does. It's about us becoming, you're not living your self-love until you've body loved. Like you're just not. The body is too habitual, you know, and yeah, it's amazing once you see what's hanging out in those patterns, and you're like, all that work, and I never changed it here where it matters, you know, where it is the truth, because it's in my body, it's in my sovereignty. And the other thing I want to tell you about is, if you're free this weekend, and the deadline to sign up is tomorrow. So if you're like, I want a really spacious full moon, and I really want to integrate, and I really want to be and have the time to listen to the incredible journey of the last few months, I'm doing an Earth, Fire and Tribe retreat. And this retreat is like the only retreat I've ever done where there's no plan. Like we are lighting the fire is staying lit. Grandfather Fire is going to tell us what to do. Everyone is going to take turns to hold the prayer and hold the space. And what is meant to happen is just going to happen. And what I feel the weekend is mainly about is clarity, integration, and life force energy repair, because you are just being. And it's beautiful, and yeah, it's going to be really fun. There's a really nice tribe coming. So if you're free, you can come to Earth, Fire and Tribe to integrate the amazing last few months that we've been on. The other thing I want to recommend actually is this. I also am part of a project that is doing a really exciting training for light workers. That is a really, really abundant, amazing skill to learn. That, you know, people make a lot of money out of house clearing. It's an amazing training that's being put on, and there is a free Q&A about that on Thursday. So there's loads of exciting stuff happening. In terms of the rows, so if you Google the Venus rose, it's amazing. Venus, it makes this movement with the earth and the moon, and when they map it, it makes what's called the Venus rose. It looks like a rose. Like, how cool is that? Like, she draws a rose in the sky, like a piece of sacred geometry that is a rose in her movement around the earth, or in alignment with the earth and the moon. And what is happening is she goes into retrograde, or the shadow phase, which is the bit before retrograde, on the 19th, 20th of June. And in that retrograde, the first petal, so the rose takes like several years to make. This coming retrograde, the first petal of the rose of this cycle is completing. And so a lot of stuff from around 2022 will be starting to complete. Does that make sense? And so, yeah, those let me know if you have any other questions. Let me pull a card. Adventures. This is the card for the month. Adventures. You only see the offer. I don't know why do you see me now? And so hopefully you can see me now. And so this is June. I hope that you have beautiful adventures. I hope that you have lots of space to integrate and to be. I'm going to open up and let the guides channel their message about sovereignty. And I ask that the highest level guidance that is in the highest good and greatest joy of all flows through me now. We will say to you that June 2023 is a month where the more you can be conscious of your sovereignty, and by sovereignty we mean knowing yourself. We mean integrity of self. We mean being full of your own life force energy because you are aligned. We will say the more you are in your sovereignty, the more you will be able to integrate and receive the blessings and the physical manifestation upgrade that this integration, if it happens, makes available to you. And we say if it happens because if you are not in your sovereignty, if you are wishy-washy and undecided and split and in the energy of not knowing yourself, and that which is available to integrate and embody, the higher self energy that is ready to embody, will not be able to embody. We say if you are going to do a daily practice, then it should be a practice that strengthens your sovereignty. For some of you, you may need to explore what your sovereignty is. For some of you, you may need to take the time not to rush, to really hear yourself in order to know yourself. We will say there is never a right or a wrong way. Whatever you choose, especially if it is chosen from the heart, is the right way. But what is unhealthy is being inconsistent, being undecided, being, I don't know myself. And this is particularly true this month. So especially at the start of the month, listen like you have never listened before. Be true to yourself in blind faith if necessary. Take your time to be certain and be defined in your expression. The choice is that you make this month become embodied. The process that is happening energetically this month is an arrival, is an embodiment happening across the collective. And so be where you are meant to be. Choose what is right for you. Know yourself. And do not worry if it takes time to hear. The more space you have, the more clearly you will hear. And we will leave this here. And so breathing in love and breathing out gratitude. And when you are ready, feeling a golden rain shower of light coming down, taking any energy that is meant to go to Gaia as an offering to the Great Mother. And connecting once again to the energy of June 2023. Noticing noticing how what you intuitively felt works with what is astrologically expressed. Noticing how you feel. And when you're ready, opening your eyes. and coming in. I hope Magic Month has been helpful to you all. I hope you all have a magical, magical, magical month. And I hope those of you that are called join us for Body Love Deep Dive, because it is about living love. I think it's about living yourself love. No frills, no avoidance. Totally doing it, really doing it, and it's amazing. And so much love to you all. Mwah. Have an amazing, amazing, amazing June 2023.